Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode on Boundaryland Podcast with Dillon and Sheldon. It's Border Gavaskar Trophy time again, and the third test is going to take place between India and Australia at Indore. A lot of discussion that we're going to have today for this, Sheldon, starting off with Australia. Looks like Steve Smith is going to lead the side this time.
Yeah, lot of drama and chaos happening in the Australian camp, and best wishes to Pat Cummins, obviously, like first because he obviously had to go home for an emergency, and you know what? Ultimately, like obviously we're cricket fans, and cricket is important, but there are bigger things in life, and family is important. So best wishes to Pat Cummins. But yeah, Steve Smith, it's been a long time since he's captained Australia, right?
Back in the seat, yes, Steve Smith, super excited for that, but like we said, a lot of issues for Australia going into this test. And like you said, Steve Smith is going to come in place now as captain, and even David Warner is also out of this tour. And surprisingly, or not surprisingly, Ashton Agar has been sent back home, and that's like a whole episode. I think we need to keep for that whole discussion. And I just can't understand like what's happening with this team. Like, you pick a guy and then you feel like he's not 100%, he's not going to play, he doesn't have that, the quality to play in India, and then you just ask him to leave and, get someone else into the team. I mean, that's a bit bizarre, right, Sheldon? Don't you think so?
Well, it's crazy. And you think, right, when you're coming to India, you need everything to be sorted in your squad. You need the team to be set, you need everyone in the right frame of mind. And you're telling me they took Ashton Agar, who's a left-arm spinner, right? They took him because he's a left-arm spinner, but they're not going to play him. They don't trust him, apparently. They said he wasn't, ready to bowl in a test match?
He wasn't.
You're taking someone all the way to India, and you're saying he's not ready to bowl. And you fly someone from Australia into the squad to play the second test match over him, who's a left-arm spinner. Like, that is just insane.
And the beauty is the other player who comes in place of him hasn't even played one test match also. He's just played like 15 first-class games, and they fly him out. And what does that do to Ashton Agar right now? Like, he must be left thinking like, what the hell is this, guys?
Yeah, exactly, Dylan. What makes even less sense is that Ashton Agar played the last game of the Australian summer, and he played it at Sydney. So obviously what he was thinking is, okay, I'm going to play the last game, so I'll start the India tour. And it honestly makes sense to play Ashton Agar because you see India, they have at number 8, not same class, but Akshar Patel, also left-arm spinner, can bat as well. You'd feel like Agar could do a similar role. And I just feel like they didn't give him a chance at all, Ashton Agar. Who knows if he played that first game? Maybe he could have done a Todd Murphy or something. And once you don't select someone like that in the first game, you're kind of giving him no chance. Like, mentally, he must be like, shot down now.
Mentally, he must be low on confidence also. But then again, Sheldon, this is like the Australian team, right? That you're speaking about. And you say that, and we know the Australian teams that do their homework so well, who before going into a big tour like this, who know exactly like what kind of pitch they're going to play on, where they're going to play, how are the conditions there. You think they have got all that information before, and they pick their best side going into this, and yet they don't give this guy a chance. That's just so like bizarre for me.
Yeah, Dylan, and it's crazy. It just feels like they made so many errors apart from the game itself, like with selections and this player not playing. For example, Travis Head not playing the first game. Like, okay, you had a few injuries. That can happen. I'm not saying there's a problem with that. But even otherwise, they just seem to not be like the old Aussie side. Like, you should have your best 11 on the park all the time, right? And it just feels like Australia don't know what their best 11 is. It's like they turned up to India and thought, okay, let's see on the day. Who are we going to play? Maybe let's play Matt Renshaw this game. Like, it's just been so random. I mean, it's so unlike Australia, who are usually like, oh, on the point. We'll fight for everything.
Yeah.
But it's just been a calamity. It's like, I don't know what's been up with them.
And I feel, Sheldon, is that the manner in which they lost the last test, I think, has affected them even more, right? Because they on that day, on the third day, they were in the lead. Like we discussed, it would have been Australia to make it right on that day, because they just lost 1 wicket, 10 overs, 60 runs the night before they'd made, and they came out all guns blazing. Then interesting, I was watching Ravichandran Ashwin's podcast that he put up, and he said that what the Indians felt was that after the first few wickets fell down, he felt that the Australians only knew to play like 1 or 2 shots, And so they said before the bowlers start to attack us, like that's what the Indians felt he meant. He said before the bowlers try to attack us, let us attack them. And in the process, that horrific batting performance by Australia happened. And so he said that we expected Australia to do so well. But in the end, he's like, after they got bundled out and like, for that many runs, he's like, we were shocked ourselves.
Yeah, it's insane, Dill, actually. And you know what? I get it. They had a plan. Obviously, it was to attack in the second innings, and the sweep shot was their favored option by the looks of it. But again, when you see how they played in the first innings, which was so well, and Khawaja, the way he played, for example, and even Hanscom without sweeping or doing anything rash.
Yeah.
And it just makes you think, like, why change it in the second innings? Exactly. If they got the same amount of runs they got in the first innings, game on, right?
Yeah.
It would have been 260 odd.
Easily.
You think that's a good score. That's a good score. They just bat similar, but it just seemed like they had one plan, and whatever happened, they were like, okay, let's go by this. And it's just like there was no adaptation, which usually the Aussies are so good at.
Yeah.
Like, and it's so unlike them to see that. But yeah.
Moving on to India, Sheldon. A lot of I think just 1-4-0s on the cards. Yeah, but not a big issue there, but just I believe there's just going to be one change. I think in India. What do you think? Rahul, going to move out of this Test match. I think Shubman Gill has got to play this. I think it's enough chances now been given to Rahul, and I feel before the World Test Championship, which India are likely going to make now, and they feel they would if they win this match. I think they would want to play Gill at least for 2 Test matches to see how he is, and give him that kind of go before the World Test Championship. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I do think that's going to happen. And also on KL Rahul, I think he's a wonderful player. Yeah. And I don't think dropping a player is the worst thing to do for the player itself. I've seen so many players get dropped, they go get runs in county, come back a better player.
Yeah.
I was even thinking about this like earlier today. I was just reading an article and I saw, for example, Joe Root, just comparing just for one thing. In 2015, Bill, he was dropped from the Ashes after 4 games. And he didn't play the last game. He worked on his game, and he came back in the summer and scored 200 in his first game. Now, I'm not comparing players, but I'm just saying sometimes when you're playing international bowlers time and time again, it's just, mentally you lose it a bit. And I think
for sure,
maybe it's best for Rahul to just take a break. It's okay. He's still a wonderful player. We've seen some top knocks in international cricket. So I feel this break, if he's let go in this game, will be good for him. And Gill is in the form of his life, Gill, so it's not a bad replacement at all. Yeah,
exactly. So I think just to be fair to Gill, who's just on the bench there sitting and waiting, and I think they have to be fair to that and give him a chance. And like you said, I think Rahul should take this in a good manner. And it's happened to the best, right? Virat Kohli has taken a break. And even recently, like Rahane and Pujara, for that example, who went to England, played so well and dominated there in the in England, playing those games there. And then he came back, and now we all know how he's playing. So I think it happens to everybody. And I think even Rahul Dravid, I was watching something on online, and I think Rahul Dravid said that we will continue to back him. And what I think what he meant was that we are probably going to back him in a way that if he does well, he can come back into this team. But coming to Indore now, I know this is a happy hunting ground here for Ashwin. I think he's done really well in the last 2 tests. I think they played New Zealand and, if I'm not mistaken, Bangladesh also over here. The last 2 times there was a test match played. I think New Zealand for sure. I think they played in Bangladesh, if I'm not mistaken. And both those matches, Ashwin has done more damage. So are we going to expect more Jadeja and Ashwin mayhem over here?
Well, I was going to say, for Australia's sake, I don't know how much better Ashwin can bowl to them. I mean, the way he's bowling to them, I mean, they must be like, oh my God, not enough. We played him in 2 venues where his record's good. Now it's even better, playing in Indore.
And guess what? Ashwin has put out a podcast saying how to play spin in India. He's put his thumbnail reads that how to play spin in India. And he's explaining, how do you come forward? How do you read the ball? It doesn't get better than that, right?
It's always funny. You see these podcasts come out, right? And I'm sure Australia are thinking now, why are you doing this now, right? And it happens all the time. You put the players down as well when they're struggling, and it can happen. I saw even Ian Healy do a masterclass on how to play spin.
On how to play the sweep. You're right.
Honestly, I burst out laughing, Dill, because he said, okay, you can play 4 or 5 shots straight. You can play 2. Yeah. And I'm like, if only it was that easy, right? Everyone could just play Ashwin and Jadeja like that.
Exactly. But yeah, going into this test, I think it will be very interesting to see how India goes ahead with this. Likely, like we discussed, it's going to be Shubman Gill who's going to replace KL Rahul. But apart from that, no proper concerns there for India. And also, yes, India will be looking to go 3-0 up in the series and cementing their place for the World Test Championship, right?
Yeah, Dil. Do you see any way back for Australia, Dil? If you could give them any hope, or what is their best way? Or do you think it's just gone already? Like mentally they're gone. Their captain's gone home. Obviously now you have players who are not fit.
I hate to say this. I don't like to say this. I mean, before this series had begun, I gave Australia a chance, right? I gave Australia a chance saying that, yes, they'll at least win one test. But I think just the manner in which they lost the last test, I think that has affected them big time. And and that started to play on their minds now. So even now going to this test, and if the ball starts to turn and, which it will, I think they're not going to be able to adapt. But like the experts have said on various social media channels and things like that, that adaptability is the key. Like, you're trusting your defense on these kind of pitches. I think trust your defense, and and when you play in the south, the way the ball reaches you is different. When you play in the north, like in Delhi and Mohali and all, the way the ball after pitching, the way the ball bounces and reaches you is different. So I think those things Australia have to keep in mind when they are playing this test.
I feel also more than Steve Smith, the captain, they need Steve Smith, the batter, right now. Yeah. More than anything, they need some runs from Steve Smith. And you always see, like, especially for teams coming away to India, like the very rare times teams have won, it's their main batsman who has to score big. Exactly. Like it always has to be, he has to score 100 or double ton. And they've just missed that from Manas and Smith. Like they've threatened. At times they've looked good, but then
they've looked good, and just when they were looking good, like they get out. That's the case. But yeah, India always breaking those partnerships. They've just been brilliant in that.
So Dil, another Jadeja man of match incoming, 3 in a row. Can he do it?
I mean, I'm sure. Jadeja is an absolute rock star. Like, and that goes back to, I remember in 2008, right, when the IPL auctions were going on, and everyone, I think Rajasthan Royals bid for Ravindra Jadeja, and Shane Warne was there, and he said that I want this guy in the team. And when they won, he said, like, watch out for this guy. He's an absolute rock star. And good old Warnie, like he was, like, how well did he know this guy was going to be, so good? And we are seeing him right now. Jadeja is just at his peak right now. He's just doing wonders. To come back after an injury and win 2 man of the matches. It's just not easy. And truly on course. If he takes a few wickets in this match and scores a bit, player of the series, hands down, player of the series is Jadeja.
Yeah, I think already confirmed. I'm pretty sure he'll get it from now. I mean, I don't see him slowing down or not taking wickets after this as well.
Yeah, because apart from Rohit Sharma, like no one else, no other Indian batsman has looked like really good, right? None of them have looked good. Virat has looked good in certain patches and everything like that, even with the others, right? But when it comes to batting and bowling, Ravindra Jadeja is just like dominated completely this series. Anyhow, the third test between India and Australia are going to take place in Indore on Wednesday, and will be interesting to see how this test goes out. India will be looking to win this and cement their place there in that World Test Championship. And for Australia, they can only hope and pray that this doesn't get over inside 3 days. But if you enjoyed this video, guys, do hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. It would mean a lot to us, and as we would know that we are making the right content and making an audience that likes our work. So thank you so much for watching the video once again, and you can follow us on Instagram. The handle's right down there in the description. See you guys soon.